Hello and welcome to another episode of my travel blogger interview, or TBI, which doesn't sound great. It probably sounds like something you get a vaccination for, so I might change that. But anyway, next episode. Joining me today, Michael Bull, travel blogger, kind of used to be maybe, but now travel blogger enabler. What's the job title now? And give people a bit of a background on how you're
Um,
involved with the scene.
yeah, I don't know about job title at all. I've been involved with travel bloggers, not blogging really, I guess with travel bloggers, for about the last 4 or 5 years, since we started a thing called Travel Massive, or actually Travel Tribe back then in
Oh, okay.
Sydney, almost exactly 5 years ago, March 2010. So actually not almost exactly, but coming up on 5 years ago. And then I moved back to London, so we started up the London one here, and that got quite travel blogger heavy. I guess about maybe four, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, yeah,
We started getting more travel bloggers coming in, and when you get a few of them, you often get quite a lot more of them.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so we did that for, well, we're still doing that every month. Got one in a couple of weeks. But in December or November 2012, myself and another travel blogger called Paul Dow, who blogs at
Yeah.
travmonkey.com, came up with the idea of doing Traverse, which is a travel bloggers conference. Just with with a little bit of a difference on the usual travel bloggers conference, in the way that we do kind of try and make it really classroomy. So we do workshops and lots of one-on-one sessions, and do it all over a weekend. So there's no time off work needed for it. Which are they're the two main reasons we started it, because there are other ones out there which are great.
Yeah,
Don't have
yeah,
anything against them, but they have certain things that stop other people going. The cost of getting there, the time off work,
yeah.
and
So,
so we kind of wanted to do something recognizing that 90% of bloggers, probably pretty much higher than that, work full time. Blogging's not a profession really for anyone, even for some of the really top bloggers. They actually earn a lot of their money doing classes and other stuff, but a
yeah.
lot of them work full time, so doing something which would be really cheap and not take time to work. So yeah, we've done that. We're just coming up for our third one in March this year,
Yep.
which will be really good. Looking forward to that. And then last year we launched Blogstock, which was a bloggers festival. It sounds a bit odd to say that, but
No.
no one had done one before, and we thought it would be quite fun. A lot of the bloggers, as I'm sure you know, Neil, are quite kind of a young crowd, kind of halfway between, I don't know, student and whatever the next stage after student is, in terms of sort of stuff they like. Not so much in age, but I think that's why I fit in so well. I love the travel. What I missed so much about traveling when I came back from being abroad was that kind of lifestyle, and I guess that kind of people who are not necessarily thinking about every pound having to go towards
No.
saving that house deposit, or all inclusive holidays to Marbella with your friends and kids.
It's quite a
And I think
social.
I can think that.
It's quite a social community in that sense, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, it is.
you know,
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons, yes, that a lot of people, even ones who aren't travel bloggers, kind of fit in. And quite often, people come to Travel Massive or Traverse and start blogs off the back of it. And
yeah,
I think it is much more down to the people. And I always think of travel blogging more as a community than an industry, because I think that's much more what it is. Um, yeah, so we did Blogstock, which was, so that's for all bloggers. That's not just travel bloggers. And then we do a few other events as well, Traverse Mingle, which is networking, and I do occasionally write for blogs as well.
I was going to say you do a little bit of blogging. So going back to Traverse, we had 2013 was Brighton.
Yeah.
Last year was Newcastle, which I made, which was cool. This year is Kingston, back in London.
Yeah.
So how, like, I guess from my point of view, I'm wondering, like, how do you pick a venue or a city, or what's the thought process? Because it's yourself, Paul, and Ruth, who like used to work in PR. Yeah. So do you guys, like, does one of you go, I want to do it here, or do you all get together and go pick a name out of a hat, or?
It's a bit of everything, really. In Brighton, we didn't have anything behind us before.
Okay.
We'd never done an event, so we kind of just had to pick a venue. And we came up with the idea, myself and Paul, around the time of World Travel Market.
Okay.
And it was, for the first 6 months, it was just myself and Paul. Ruth came on a little bit later. But it was actually Ruth's idea to do it in Brighton, even though she had nothing to do with the organising of the event. It wasn't part of the team back then, because I knew her. We knew her through the PR agency work for 4BGB, and she knew all the bloggers. She was very well clued in there. So we actually approached her her to do a workshop as well, and she did talk at the first Traverse conference about how to pitch to brands. But she said, so I wanted to do Manchester, and Paul was unsure, but thought Manchester or Brighton or something like that would work. And I spoke to Ruth, and she said Brighton makes so much more sense. It's it's so much easier to get to from London. One of the big things about Brighton for the first conference was something we've gone back to with Kingston, is that set price train fare, which made it so much easier because people could book last minute tickets.
Okay.
Brighton kind of made the decision for itself. We went down there, checked out a couple of venues, and found one which was brilliant. So we went for that one. We were looking at a few others for the first one. And then the second one, we were much more open for it. Initially, we spoke to Visit England, and they put word out to places. And basically, we don't get paid by the conference areas to come on board. Like, being totally honest about it, Newcastle did pay a bit because they also wanted to be a sponsor.
Cool.
And that was. But what we're not looking. Obviously, if a city comes on and say we're going to fully fund your conference, I know that's what happens to certain other conferences. They get paid a hell of, which is part of the reason why they often go to places which maybe you wouldn't think are fantastic.
No.
Not to put them down, because they do a great job wherever they do. But they often get paid by the venue. They get all the hotels covered, a lot of flights, that sort of stuff. But we don't do that. But what we do want is places that work closely with you. So we didn't have that in Brighton because it was the first time we'd done it. But Newcastle, logistically and pretty much in every way, Newcastle was the hardest of all the places that wanted to do it. We had a couple of places kind of south ways, in the south of England. There's a better term for that, I know. And then some Midlands places, I know Nottingham, and then a few further north, Manchester and Liverpool, and then Newcastle. We spoke to them all, but the guys from Newcastle just sent us this amazing. It was kind of like a full-on pitch as to why they wanted to do it, but also what they do with us. And again, it wasn't down to money. Newcastle was by far the most expensive option from the ones we had, but it was just how keen they were to work with bloggers. And I do think that was really well reflected in the actual event when we went there in the end, especially with the Sunday experiences, which were just absolutely fantastic. I think
they were cool. They were good.
So that was cool. And then we came to this year, and to be honest, we left some of the organising a little bit later than we would have done. So Newcastle was organised, it was a February event, and we organised the venue in July with a couple of visits and announced it in August. And this time with Blogstock on, which was just such a huge job. We were talking to people, but I don't want to put Visit England and Visit Britain down, because they've been really good when we've worked with them, but they're not always the easiest people to work with. And they didn't really. I mean, they had a lot on there, the Commonwealth Games and stuff. So trying to make excuses for them. And they're really nice. We get on really well with them, but all they really do is introductions, and that didn't really happen. But then we worked with another PR company called Hamilton, who helped us out with our very first mingle. And I don't know if you know that one, but it was at the DoubleTree Hilton.
I was away for that. That's the one I've missed. Yeah.
That was at the Sky Lounge, which is really cool.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
We've just always stayed in touch with them. They're a great team. There's only two of them in the company. And they've been saying to us, have you thought about Kingston? We say, no, I don't really know Kingston. It's just London. Blah, blah. And then eventually went down to see it, and it was just absolutely perfect. Amazing venue, beautiful place. And it's great because it's far enough away from London that people will stay for the weekend.
Yeah.
It's close enough that people don't have to worry about booking your trains 12 weeks in advance, wondering if you have to take a Friday afternoon off. All that sort of stuff. You don't even have to book trains. That's what I like so much about it.
I mean, London's quite blogger heavy. I don't want to generalise, but I sort of see London and maybe like Manchester as the two sort of English blogging epicentres, if you like.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. I mean, Newcastle's got a few. We didn't realise till we were there. But London and Manchester, and probably I'd say Edinburgh, Glasgow between them. I don't want to push people together because I don't think they like that. But you do get a lot of bloggers up that way as well.
Okay. So moving on.
London's got more than the rest put together, I think.
So moving on. So Traverse have you got a lot more to do for the Kingston Traverse, or you all will it be up to the last minute panicking?
It's always up to the last minute.
Yeah.
It's been a bit of an odd one to organise from the organisation front, because these things really kick off 4 months before.
Okay.
I don't really know why that is. It's probably down to our organising. We start thinking, oh shit, it's 4 months to go.
Yeah, but you're balancing full-time jobs as well, kind of thing, aren't you? This isn't like a full-time, so it's...
No, we all do jobs around this.
Yeah.
But what we found when we got 4 hotels, that was coming into December. And then you don't really do anything for December because people generally decide that work doesn't exist from the middle of December, despite the fact that work up to the 20th or 23rd. 24th even is a work day. And then, so because everyone's going away from the 12th or the 15th, the people who are covering are saying they can't work either because they can't take on any extra jobs. So all the stuff to do with speaking to sponsors and speaking to venues and all this sort of stuff kind of just disappears for December. And then people come back in January, but they've got a billion emails. So you wait until mid to end of Jan. So we were a little bit panicky, kind of 2 weeks ago. And then the last couple of weeks, just everything's happened. And we're well ahead of where we were.
Oh, good. Okay.
Both of the last two events. Now we've got almost all of our speakers finalised. You know, we're going for a slightly different angle on some of the sessions. We're increasing the sessions by 30%, so we're going from 12 to 16. So kind of third on top, 25% more, I guess. Talks, it's still going to be the same in that you can go to up to 4 talks, but this means that we can still focus on all the really core topics, you know, writing, WordPress, photography, video, SEO, but also do a few things a little bit different. So maybe do a couple of video talks. So one about creating video, then one about how to become a YouTube personality or really be a hit on YouTube. So that sort of thing. We've got some really good speakers lined up. And one thing we don't do at Traverse, and we've never done, is accept pitches or sponsored talks. We do focus groups, which we did one for MSC Cruises last year.
Yeah, I saw that,
Actually, you know, a lot of people liked it, but that couldn't be one of the talks. It couldn't go on the schedule as a talk. It was over lunchtime, so people didn't miss out on anything else for it. And so we don't do those things. Again, that's one thing that was kind of in our kind of mission statement from the start, I guess, our kind of guidelines for the way we're going to run it, is not to sell these talks. Because too often at conferences, not just in blogging conferences, but for all sorts of stuff, you know, you go to a talk and it will be, you know, better Facebook marketing. You think, great, you know, that's something I really want to know, better Facebook marketing. And what you actually walk into is a 90-minute sales pitch from a company trying to sell you their marketing tool. And we don't want that. But we have said that, well, we won't have sold talks if the right brand is the right person to do, the right people to do a talk. Then we have absolutely no problem with that. So last year, David Toutin, who's the head of SEO for Expedia UK, or maybe Expedia Europe, so I don't want to do him a disservice, but he did the talk on SEO, because when it comes to travel SEO, he's as good as there is. And we weren't selling that talk to Expedia. Expedia were there anyway because they were big sponsors of ours. And we're going to have the same thing this time. So we don't have ones to announce that'll be coming up this week, so I don't know when this goes out.
No, fair enough. I don't know when it's going out, so
well, I'm sure we'll have stuff come out, but I mean, they're formalised now, so we'll have Lonely Planet doing our session on travel writing.
Cool.
Which would be cool. So one of the top authors of the Lonely Planet books doing a 1 hour talk and workshop, so it'll probably be a 50-50 split, so half an hour doing a talk and then some Q&A. And Pinterest are doing the talk on Pinterest, because I thought it was really stupid not to get them to do it. There's some brilliant people on Pinterest, and one of them, Ninka, works with us on Traverse, and she would have been our next choice for sure, but when it's actually Pinterest themselves. So she'll probably end up doing the pro bar side of it. So we got those two, and we're speaking to a few others about doing that. And hopefully what we'd like to do is have 12 talks from people who are not specifically from a brand. Some of them will have brand backgrounds, and then 4 talks from actual brands.
Right, okay.
But about the skills that their brands develop. So, I mean, YouTube's a good example. If you want to talk about how to become a YouTube star, you can hear from someone who is a YouTube star, or you can hear from an agency that pays people £100,000 per video, and the reason they do that is because they know how to find the right people.
Right.
So I'm not necessarily saying we're going to have that agency or that.
No, but
that's an example of where a brand could be better.
Sure.
So it should be. I think I've got a bit off topic because I can't actually remember what the question was, or if there was a question. But
oh dear.
Yeah, so that's. I guess it was about you. So yeah, it should be good. We got some really cool venues for the Friday and Saturday. So you were there for the whole time in Newcastle.
I did Newcastle. I was away for Brighton, but Newcastle was good. Yeah, really good time.
You know, we do 2 very different nights on the Friday and the Saturday. So the Friday's very much a welcome drinks. People can still turn it into a bit of a party if they want. We don't tell people when to go to bed or any of that sort of stuff, but we do kind of similarly not try and turn it into a massive night.
No.
And we've got such an amazing venue at this place. It's completely different to not just what we've done, but I think what any other conference has ever had in terms of a welcome drinks venue. It's I don't want to say that like it's not going to be like a theme park or anything, because we are close to Chessington, but it's just really cool place, and I think it will be amazing for the photographers, Instagrammers.
Cool. Okay.
They come there, and that'll be nice. And then we've got this place on Saturday, which is like the main student union bar in Kingston, and it's.
I know it well. Yes, don't worry.
Yeah. Were you at university there?
No, but I was at university in West London, so we quite often traverse
Have you ever been
between.
to space?
Sorry,
Have you ever been to space? I don't know if it was called space then. It might not have been. I
might have
think
been
it's just.
Kingston Works then, maybe. Oh, anyway.
I don't know. It's just outside of the town, heading towards the Kingston Hill campus. So about
Okay.
2-3 minutes walk from the town, from this All Saints Church in the square. But it's really nice. It's kind of quite similar from what we wanted for the Saturday night to be much more of a party. You know, this is
Yeah.
it's not going to be looking like a student bar because it's a really nice bar. And it's ours for the night. It's complete private hire.
Okay. Cool.
But it's great. We're probably going to put on a little pool tournament throughout the evening. Have some music, loads of competitions.
I suck at pool. I suck so
I'm
hard at
pretty
pool.
terrible as well, but you know, everyone's terrible after a bunch of beers. So we'll
Well,
make it start at 10 o'clock.
fair enough.
Anyone.
Cool. So that's Traverse. That's like, to put it lightly, indoors and very. Well, I want to say structured. I mean, Blogstock's obviously structured, but it's a
Yeah.
totally different ball game in terms of, I went to Blogstock. I thought it was brilliant. I don't want to pick favourites, but I dare say like.
The first person to get a ticket for Vlogstock. Or maybe it was Kasha. I can't remember. But you definitely got one very early.
Yeah, I was straight on that. But like, I mean, is it totally different organising that? I mean, in terms of,
I think organising the first
was it
Vlogstock
harder than maybe
was
Newcastle?
definitely harder. I was trying to explain this to someone just before. I was at Travel Massive about a week before Blogstock last year, and I was saying to someone, I was just in proper stress mode. You know, when you're running out of hours, and it doesn't matter what time you get up and what time you go to bed.
No.
There's just enough of them. And this person was saying, "Oh yeah, you know, like events are hard." I was like, "Yeah, you know, I've always found events hard, but I've always enjoyed them." And the difference between us doing not just Traverse, say Mingle's a good example, or Travel Massive. You know, what we do for Travel Massive, we find a bar, we book a bar, we hire it, we sort the entertainment out, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, this time it was basically the same thing. But if you think about doing one bar, you have to build the bar, and then you have to make sure that the police are okay with you having the bar, and then you have to have permission to do it, and you have to put toilets in. The sanitation have to come down, and health and safety to check the food. You have to have a license for the drinks, and basically that. I think we had 8 different like venues, or I don't know what we call them there. I keep doing this because I'm on a phone. I realise you can't see why.
Great.
So yeah, it was a lot harder, but I don't think next year will be as hard, and I think next year will be a lot more similar to organising Traverse. Really, because what made Vlogstock so difficult was getting the licenses and the sign-offs.
Yeah. Okay.
We wrote around about 65,000 words of event plan to get the final sign-off, and we had to do that about 3 or 4 times.
It's like a dissertation, blimey.
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, we had 3 of us working very hard to get it done. We did have quite a lot of time. If I tell you how finely we cut it in the end, then it was. I think it was Wednesday that we got the final sign-off, and we kicked things off Friday morning. So,
Awesome. No,
I mean, it wasn't. It sounds a lot worse than it was. They knew our deadlines. If we didn't get it on Wednesday, I would have met them on Tuesday and signed it. So it wasn't so on Thursday. But it was pretty tight and really hard to do that, because once you've done all that stuff, that's going in the background. So you've got this in your head the whole time, and you've also got to organise the actual logistics of it. But we worked with a really good company called Community Links, who we're working with again, and they're actual community events. They do like village fates and stuff like that. But they were a lot better to work with than a lot of the festival places we talked to.
Oh, cool. Okay.
They were the ones who were in charge of basically all the main stuff there. I think they didn't do any of the TPs. That was another company, and the security was another company.
Yeah.
Obviously, food and drink were. But apart from that, the main marquee, the fashion ones, the hexagon tent, security tent, welcome tent, and all that sort of stuff was there. And then we put in other stuff as we went. So yeah, but it's in the same way that Traverse 14 was easier than Traverse 13, Blogstock 2 will be.
Yeah, you kind of get used to it, I guess. And there is a Blogstock 15, presumably, on the way.
There is. I just had a meeting with the Aldenham Country Park, so we're going to do it at the same location. Mainly because if I move it out of Hertfordshire, I have to write another 65,000 word event plan. But
works
but
for me. Works for me.
Yeah, sorry.
Works for me. It's half an hour down the road, so I'm quite happy with that.
It's I don't want to move that. It was a perfect location for us because
it was so good. It works so well. Like.
Quite similar to Kingston, actually, in terms of where it is, in that you're in London, but you're also not in London.
Yeah.
Elstree is technically Hertfordshire, but it's also Greater London, I think. So it's one of those areas that crosses over. It's not too far from a tube. It's on the Thames Link, and very easy to get to if you're coming from the north, because Hertfordshire is north. So you come straight down the M1 and or A1.
I think, wasn't it
So,
Kentucky were good enough to run a bus as well and stuff, so it's quite accessible. Like,
yeah, you put on a bus from central London, and if not, it was a case of just getting to Elstree and Borehamwood Station
yeah,
and hopping in a cab, which was about 350. So it was quite simple. Or you could drive. We had plenty of parking. I think we had about 60 cars there, so a fair few people did drive, and yeah, it was nice and easy. And there's also, because of the film industry in Elstree, it's where they do, I think, where they did Harry Potter, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and Jaws, and all sorts of famous films. And I was kind of upset because last year we were there at the same time they were filming Star Wars. We didn't get a chance to go.
because
Go and have,
it's quite close to the Warner Brothers studios, I guess. Because that's
yeah,
Watford, so yeah, it's around that way.
yeah. So Warner Brothers and Watford. So and then Elstree's Elstree. That's where it was.
Yeah.
So Elstree's I think 20th Century Fox film there, and I know Lucasfilm. So it's where they did all of the Jurassic Park, Star Wars, and Indiana Jones. But because of that, there's loads of good hotels.
Yeah.
So it's Travelodge, Premier Inn, Holiday Inn, and a really nice village urban resort. So it works really well for whoever wants to come. So a lot of the brands and the sponsors, they've stayed in the hotels. I love camping. I'd choose a tent over a hotel anyway.
Yeah, you've got a camp, I reckon. Camping was hilarious last week.
Yeah, so it will be different the next blog stop. We've got some really cool ideas on board. Hopefully, we're going to work together and do a hostel this year. So instead of trying to sell tents that aren't waterproof, which was a bit of a cock up on our part, to people who don't have tents, so we preset them up and that we're going to get another big marquee and do with their own a little hostel with a little bar in it.
That's cool.
So
That's
bloggers.
awesome.
If they want, they can stay there, and hopefully we'll have a brand, either Hertz or someone like Hertz doing the really nice luxury camping again. So that's good, and then hopefully also not have the heaviest rainstorm in 35 years to hit us.
Hertz saved us last year for sure.
Yeah, they saved a few people. They were brilliant, really good to work with.
But then the rain, like, I know, like, you weren't admittedly, well, obviously quite happy with the rain on the very first night, but I thought it actually played to an advantage. You brought everyone into the main tent, and then everyone was together and had a really good time off the back of it.
Beer. That was our way of keeping.
That's cool too. Yeah.
We noticed at one point that people were sloping off to bed at like 8 o'clock or going to their tents. I always think the worst thing. Oh, they're probably just going to go get changed. So I think we jumped on the mic and said that because the bar couldn't work in the rain, something they didn't tell us beforehand. So we just moved it all indoors and just said while the rain carries on, the beer's free. And then we realised that we couldn't actually do that because the rain wasn't going to stop. So I think at about midnight we turned it into an honesty bar. And dropping a few every now and then. So yeah, that was good. I complained a lot about the weather because it was a pain. But the fact is, the whole Saturday was perfect, and we didn't have a single drop of rain fall when there was a session on.
No, Saturday was good.
Sessions outdoors. People got sunburned, which is kind of essential.
It's authentic camping. That's what you want.
Yeah. No, we were really happy. The thing we wanted before it was for it to actually look like a miniature festival. Yeah. And then when I look through the pictures now, you think, we did actually get that. So next year, and actually much like Traverse 14 from 13 and this one from that, we're there'll be certain changes we make, things, lessons we learned, and stuff we got lucky on that we wouldn't want to chance again.
Cool. So have you got?
Sorry,
no, I was going to say, have you got dates for this year? Do you know when
we do? We do have dates. We're just waiting on one potential partner.
Do you want to let slip and just pretend it never happened?
Yeah, well, it's going to be one of the first 2 weekends in September.
Cool, okay.
We're gunning for the 4th and 5th of September at the moment. But one of the partners we really want to work with do a lot of family stuff, so the summer holidays are really busy for them.
Of course,
so
yeah.
It's end of summer, so we're hoping that they can do that. But if not, we might do the 11th and 12th.
Do you know when tickets might go on sale?
By the end of February. We're going to have it all announced. So we're going to get it announced in the next couple of weeks. Cool. Because we're there with it now. We've arranged it with the park. We've arranged it. All the dates are set. We're just waiting for final sign-offs. So, yeah, hopefully we'll make some kind of formal announcement for it in the middle of February and do what we'll probably do with tickets. So, again, I'm saying all this without running it past Paul or Ruth.
That's fine. It's fine. Don't worry.
But what we've done for our last few events is do a whole bunch of pre-sale for kind of the people who know us quite well. They've been to other events. They see what stuff's coming up. So we usually do like 20% of the tickets on that, and then we might put the rest of them on sale at Traverse or something like that. I'm not sure yet. But we'll see. But it might end up that we're working with other partners who are also going to be selling tickets, so we have to coordinate with them a bit.
Okay.
So we'll see. Hopefully it's going to be good. It's a lot more of a congested schedule this year with other things going on, and we've got another thing which I think we're allowed to announce now. So
do it. Go on.
So we're going to be running the official blogger sessions at World Travel Market next
Oh
year as
well.
well. So that would be through Traverse, which is, I mean, for us, it's amazing because we started Traverse at World Travel Market. It's like one of the biggest travel shows in the world. I think it's the second biggest in the world after ITB, and it's probably got the best reputation out of any exhibition.
Yeah,
in the
it's
travel
huge.
industry.
Absolutely huge.
So to actually sit down with the organisers of that and they tell us that they want us to do the sessions is great. And there's a bit of a not a change. I don't think there's been anything wrong with the sessions which have been done there before, but certain things that we could do which perhaps other people couldn't, which is to do with the multi-industry blogging, mainly stuff from Blogstock. So having not just travel bloggers there is something that they were quite keen to look at. And
Cool.
so yeah, so that's not anything which will be in the same way as a conference because obviously there'll be no tickets or anything for that. But it's good for us, but it makes it a nice busy year.
Yeah.
And then we're looking.
Lot to travel.
We'll probably be adding something else in 2016 as well, I should imagine.
Yeah.
But God knows what yet. We'll see. There's always something else popping up.
Right, so with this, I guess I'll probably post this in February. So if you're watching this on either my blog or on YouTube or whichever, check below this video and there'll probably be a link to Blogstock tickets and there'll definitely be a link to Traverse tickets. But whether they've sold out by then or not, so I'd act quickly if depending on when this goes live, obviously. Are there still tickets left for Traverse? Like
there are still tickets. With Traverse is a bit of an odd one because we don't want to sell out the tickets too early because a lot of the people have said to us at events, oh, we're not sure yet, we're not sure about dates, and we don't want to close it off to those people who can't make up their mind. Quite often for me, I've had to miss out on my cousin's stag do in 2 weeks because I just don't have the time. And I said to him when he was trying to book it a year ago, I can't commit to a weekend in February because I don't know. And a lot of people are the same thing.
Yeah.
So we don't really ever go too hard on pushing the tickets. We did a pre-sale, which they went in like 2 hours this year, which was a lot of tickets, about a third of our total allocation. But we are capping the numbers because of the format. We don't want to go massive on it. We've got 4 classes at once plus pro bars, so we don't really want to go above 30, 40 people in these sessions. Obviously, it stops being a class and starts being a tour. So we'll see, but we're not going on a massive sales push for tickets at the moment. They're going really steadily, and I really hope what would be perfect for us is if we sell out on the Thursday before Traverse starts. Actually, the Wednesday, so I can print name badge. But, basically the week before. That would be perfect. That's what happened with Brighton and Newcastle. It was last week for both of them, and Brighton we got lucky because we had no idea what we were doing. And Newcastle we were a little bit more geared towards that. So we very much hope that's the same thing again. Right. So basically for us, if that happens, for us it means that we've sold as many as we could do, which is good, and also it means that everybody who wants a ticket has got one.
Okay, cool. So busy man, but obviously you've still got a sort of love for travel. Are you actually going to get away at all yourself this year? Like, have you got any travel plans personally?
To do a month in Sydney.
Awesome.
So I work freelance at the moment, and I want to take advantage of that while I do it because I don't know how long I will. So I'm very much hoping to go to Sydney at the end of April till the end of May. Awesome. It's just about the only 1 month period I can be away with the event. And I could do long weekends, which is what I every year I tell myself I'm going to do more. And last year I got a few. I got to New York and Dublin and a few other places last year, but I'd like to do more. It's lazy. I'm definitely going to do Malta this year as well, and hopefully Azerbaijan.
Oh, cool.
Something that I know a lot of bloggers really struggle to do, so that's something I'll probably write about.
Different, yeah.
But my dad works over there in Baku, and so he can get visas a lot more easily than most people because you get them through their agency. And so again, because I'm working freelance, I'll just go over there for a week, do some exploring and working during the day, and then see my dad in the evening. So hopefully going to get that sorted for May or June as well.
Extremely busy. Right, I usually do I'm just going to do it right. We usually do a quick fire round. So I don't know how well this is going to work, but we're just going to crack on with it. Right, so airplane, you're going window, middle or aisle seat?
Aisle, always.
Leg room, I assume?
No, I'd like to drink beer and I don't step over people for the toilet.
Yeah, toilet thing, totally. Right, okay. Plane, train or automobile? Favourite method of travel? Bike, Segway?
God, that's really tough. I don't have a favourite. I love driving, I love trains and I love flying, so...
All of the
above. Right now, train. Yeah, because I've had a few good train journeys recently.
Okay. Hostel, hotel, apartment, tent?
No, good hostel. Good hostel every time. Meet people. That's why I travel. Travel.
So presumably dorm room to meet people, or are you a private?
It completely depends on the hostel. depends on what the hostel's like. If the hostel's got a good social area, like some in Australia and some been to in Europe, then I'd take a single room if I could have one. But the bigger hostels, like you get in cities, London, Sydney, and Melbourne and stuff, I'd always go dorm room because that's where you meet people.
Okay. So dorm room, you are top bunk, bottom bunk?
Whatever's available. Bottom, really.
Yeah. Everyone I speak to says bottom. No one wants to clamber up to a top bunk after a bit of a drink, do they? Like,
it's also that I constantly drop my phone and iPod and stuff off the top bunk, and they always manage to hit 3 bars on the way down and wake up the room. So, bottom bunk, you don't have that.
Okay, speaking of iPods, you are on a long train journey. What's the one album you've got on your iPod or iPhone or whatever it is?
Can I go best ofs?
Yeah, go on then.
I'll probably go Crossroads by Bon Jovi.
Nice. Okay. Different.
But there'd be a lot. Definitely some Bruce Springsteen in there as well.
Right. Chuck this one in there. Traverse or Blogstock? Careful.
Blogstock. Just because nobody else does anything like Blogstock anyway.
Yeah, cool. Okay. And lastly, I guess, Michael Ball's guilty pleasure. I can tell you, Macca Sharifi answered this with Muck Busted. And if you know what that is, your answer can't be worse than that.
The combination of those two disgusting teenagers from the early 2000s.
It doesn't have to be music related, obviously. It can be anything related. Just guilty pleasure. Or you might be too cool for things like that. I don't know. Like,
oh, no. I've just got too many. I'm trying to think of what is one good guilty pleasure. God, I don't know. Probably junk food. Yeah.
I like food.
It would be kebabs, but that's only when I'm drunk, so I don't know if that counts. I'd say junk food. I like getting a McDonald's and sitting on my sofa after a game of football and just watching TV for the rest of the day. So, yeah.
Good choice. Right, I'm well aware I've taken up half an hour of your Saturday, and you've probably got better things to be doing. So
you know what? I don't. Nothing kicks off for an hour and 13 minutes. So
when you say kicks off, you mean the football starts in an hour and 13 minutes, right? Yeah, good lad.
So mainly just waiting.
Right, but in the meantime, do you want to give Traverse and Blogstock a quick plug? I know you spoke about it a lot, but do you want to tell just quickly?
I think you probably spoke about it enough. Just I guess the dates for Traverse. So Traverse is coming up in Kingston upon Thames. It is. I actually do think it's the best of the blogger conferences for learning, and also you have a load of fun. We put on a lot of drinks and stuff. So that's 27th till the 29th of March, and tickets are on sale at the moment. There's an early bird rate at the moment. I don't know why we call it early bird, because they've been on sale for ages. So you can get them from traverse-events.com/Kingston.
I'll put a link below, and same with Blogstock, link below and everything.
That'd be great to do that. And what we always say with the conferences, we always try and be as approachable as possible. So if anybody's got any questions, not just about Traverse, but about anything that we do, just pop me an email, which is michael@traverse-events.com. And that's right, and we'll get back. I always forget if it's code.uk or convents.com. And we always make sure to come back to everyone. And we'll see lots of people in March.
Similarly, you're on Facebook and Twitter. I'll chuck those down, comments, description section even.
For both of them.
Yeah, cool.
And Instagram nowadays.
Branching out. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, well, I just finished a contract which I had to do Instagram for, and you can only have one account per phone. So when I didn't have that, I thought, I may as well. I don't like taking pictures, but every now and then I do, and I think it's good. And plus, I've got a huge backlog from this job I used to do, so they're getting loads of London street art at the moment.
Everyone loves street art. Street art does really well on Instagram, so.
Street art and burgers. So.
Yeah, actually, fair enough. Right, I'll let you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. So,
thanks so much. I'll try to.
Say thank you very much. You guys watching at home, obviously, click the subscribe button or look in the description for all the links it talks about. Look to the right and you can see hopefully my other videos in the channel, or click on the channel button and there'll be other travel blogger interviews. Thanks to Michael. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, thanks. Speak to you soon.